Greetings. This is the Divine Alpha Study Hall. This class is not for everybody. This is for the chosen few that happen to be awakened. In this awakening process, we will talk about why we are different from the other two-thirds and the chaos in which we may have been experiencing from the time that we come on this planet and recognize that there's something definitely different about ourselves and how that fits in the conglomerate of what's going on around us, our environment, through our family, our friends, our associates, our places of work, and our places of interest. So I will start with saying, first of all, who I am. I am Theodore William Gilder, also known by other names through my journey of 47 plus years on this planet. At the young age, I was in the library. First library I was in Linden, New Jersey. It's East Branch Public Library. It's no longer there. It's closed down last time I seen. But the thing is, I've been in the library for most of my life. Not to say that I lived in a library, but to say that the library was one of my escapes where I was able to go and get information, not knowing at the time that it was going to be beneficial to my process and my growth in terms of being able to go anywhere I wanted to go. Having said all that, I come to the IMI part. The IMI relating to the whole fact that it's up to each individual to find out who they are for themselves, not with society programs to tell you that this is what you're supposed to be. Because if there was said book to be written about a person that could describe and tell them what their life would be all about, then you would have not one suicide relating to a job that someone got frustrated with doing. Or when the stock market crashed, nobody's going to kill themselves. They're going to say, hey, this is a job that I took and this is the job I love. And seeing how the stocks may have dropped, I got to find a way to reinvest and reinvent myself to where I can bring these stocks, bring my job back to the magnitude that it was. But not going too deep into that per se, but it's just to say that this is something wrong with this matrix and the matrix is falling apart. Those of us that are awakened, this is the time for us to do those things that are going to be progressive for the next generation. And it will bring us to the point that the two-thirds have been kept, that the two-thirds have tried to prevent from happening. We're about to go into another understanding for those, or understanding for others, about who we are as a greater grouping, not who we are as some people here and some people there. Some people act like this and some people act like that. When you put it all together, the whole, there are those who have the ability to transcend the world that's around them, such as the innovators that we have had in the last 100 years, where we can see it more so. Music went from being something that you had to hear live and you had to be there to hear the group at the time, to it being recorded on plastic and tape, where we were able to replay it at some other times on 8-track players and record players. And now we're digitally playing music and we're digitally saving music, and the little thing as small as the SD card can hold up to terabytes of information, to where we had to have books and books and books and different variations of recording materials in order for us to get the same amount of space that we would now consider to be a half a terabyte, a G, a megabyte, all that. So having said all that, let me not go too far into that conversation. Let me come back into what I'm originally talking about, which is who we are. It's easy to sit there, see that I'm a melanated being, but I'm not limited to my melanation. And even with my melanation, I understand that there's some parts of me that is not completely melanated. That's why I'm not a very melanated being. I'm melanated to a degree to where I am brown. I am not dark, dark brown, and I am not white, white, light. I'm in the middle. I'm like your past and your future uh, surrounding the present. I'm the present. We're currently here. Those things in which we're doing now are beneficial to those things that go on in the future. We're supposed to learn those things from the past. As it was so eloquently said, when you know the past, you know the future. And when you know the future, you know the current present, which is to lock everything in together to say that be current present. This is part of the IMI movement. The IMI movement is to express to you that you are supposed to be in the moment of now. And in this moment of now, most people's consciousness are on separating themselves from each other, when the greater consensus of what we should be doing right now is bringing those minds together, because as it's been so eloquently expressed in the last 7 years, and more so strongly since all of these hangings and killings that are happening amongst people. Yes, they're showing us as melanated people that are getting killed and shot by cops, but I've also seen where they're killing white people too because of their class system. So it's not about the color of your skin. Think back 16 years ago when they were trying to go to war with another country, and we as a world, we said, no, we're not taking this anymore. We started protesting. We protested Wall Street. We protested the fight. And you know what ended up happening to us? Our war became domesticated. Since they couldn't go over to another country and justify with the American people following behind them that we should go over to another country and start killing people, they brought all that military, all that weapon, all them caskets that people have been seeing online with the black caskets, the big plastic caskets, and they're designating getting rid of us. Because in their agenda is to bring down the population as much as possible. I don't know about that 500,000, because that's a lot to be able to try to get rid of damn near 7 billion people just for you to keep 500,000 people here and what you're supposed to be in charge of. But with that being said, those people who are underlaying this task, those who know that they're part of that 500,000, they're going to realize that there's something wrong with the matrix, and there'll be nobody after a while, because there's no honor amongst thieves. And those sheep that wake up to realize that they're not really sheep, there's something more than that, they will end up fighting these people who have destroyed this world if it was to come to that. But let's go further into this IMI. The IMI in which I'm talking about is to say that we, the chosen, because it's not everybody, we're the chosen, we are going to be the ones that better the world. The Jetson age in which they're talking about, that comes through those of us that are like us. And everybody's not like us. Those of us that are like us are the creators. Those of us that are like us are the ones that are going to talk about the things that they've been, the elephant in the room. The fact that these unidentified foreign objects and these UAPs have been here since the beginning of time, whether we've known it as a conscious man or not, or conscious woman or not. The Trinity is important. The Trinity is important to say that between man and woman was created child, and they turned it into man, and then they turned it to a white man, and then they turned it to a black man, but they forgot about the woman. And the woman is very important. The woman is not a mutation of man. When you think about it, as a man, or as a being, period, intellect doesn't require muscle. But muscle or strength does not require intellect either. So with that being said, it's easy for me to be able to do something mindlessly and have strength than it is for me to have a consciousness that allows me to rationalize and come up through natural deduction an answer which is true, not a belief, but a knowledge, the truth, the proof. Having said all that, I do not conform to any religion that tells me to believe in anything that I can't prove. The simplifying of a religion by someone saying that the air exists but yet still you can't see it, that's silly. It does the other faculties of air allows you to know that it does exist. It's like, just if a person wasn't able to see, does that mean a person can't feel because they can't see? If a person could see but can't feel, does that mean a person can't see? So if you want to deduct that kind of weirdo logic to an existing God that you have no contact with, well, let me talk about one that you do have contact with. The one that you have contact with is the one that allows you a consciousness, the one that allows you to be able to do good things, have knowledge of good things, but also have knowledge of bad things as well. Example, if someone was to come in here and slap this book out of my hand and punch me in my face without any logical reasoning why said person did this, and then said person was to apologize to me, and I accept that person's apology because in their apology I realized that they were telling me the truth, I let that go. Okay, keep that same scenario, except for the person punched me in my face and walked away, didn't apologize, and didn't see this person for a time until that time comes that I actually do see this person. And now I see this person and not one thought, because I am not a holistic being by myself. Not just a second thought, because I'm not a demonic thought. I am not a demonic being, but I happen to be a being that happened to have the capacity to be able to see this to where I can go about it several ways. I can go about it to where I take wrath into my own hand and I develop a plan in how I can hurt this person who's hit me in my face. Or I can say, you know what? I'm not going to put my hands on this person because this person is going to get exactly what they're supposed to get, and I don't have to put my hands on them because the punishment that this person has brought to me is going to be worse on them and best on me if I don't implement my hand, because if I implement my hand, now I have to deal with the fact that I might indeed hurt myself because I may use my hands, my feet, I may use other people, I may use a lot of circumstances that ends up turning back to be a negative thing, although in my understanding, I might have thought that I was in the right because I was justified for being able to retaliate against someone who's done something to me. This is what mastery of martial arts is all about, in terms of when the master does no longer fight anymore. And you say, well, why do you want to fight no more? You're a master. When you become a master, you realize it's not about you using your hands. It's about you using your mind. And your mind allows you to transcend people, places, and things to a degree and level to where if trouble was to come around you, it would get dejected away from you by the people, places, environments in which you have built around you. It's a die daily process that you don't ever outgrow as long as you're down in this physical plane, because there are archons and there are spirits, good, bad, and indifferent, that at any given time in any given environment can surround you, and they may come into play whether you're having a good day or you're having a bad day, or you can't tell the difference in different. Having said all this, we get back to what I was saying about the woman, man, and child. It's more than likely we're a different level of being. That's without saying for those who know, but for those who don't know, we are definitely different levels of beings. That's how you have a servitude level, and that's why you have these caste systems, because somewhere along the line, whether given by the divine or stolen by the demonic, they've misplaced and changed the order of how things was. That's why they don't have any connection to the history of what actually transpired. They can only come up and deduct through the people, places, and things that are around them that allows them that knowledge. Certain people like myself, where I have not been personally snatched up by any government entity where they've been able to hive mind my information. I found out things that relate to me having prophetic dreaming from the time I was a child, and not knowing that it was prophetic dreaming. To me, it was just me dreaming as a child. It was like movie theater mode. But over the last 40 something years, I've been going places and seeing people that I've seen in my dreams, and I'm like, wow, I dreamt about this years ago. So then I understood that where I didn't make it up, I didn't go to Seattle, Washington when I was 7 or 8 or 9 or 10. I ended up going to Seattle, Washington when I was in my 30s. So for me to be able to do all this and see this allows me to understand that there's definitely something different with me. There are people that I've met over this course of this 47 years plus years that I've been on this planet. I'm putting this video out for them to see it because they will tell you that this is who I am. They will tell you that I'm an Aquarius. I'm very airy. I talk a lot. I'm very knowledgeable. I bring a lot of insight to people that may have not been brought to them, partly because a lot of people don't read. And I'm not just talking about black people, but I'm particularly talking about us because of the fact that we've been taught to hate knowledge and dislike and be afraid of learning and reading because our ancestors was taught that something bad would happen to them if they learned how to read. They were punished if they learned how to read. But also remember that it's because of the fact that not all of our ancestors were slaves that we're not in complete servitude at this time. If we were what was said at a time through this Constitution and through this laws of America, that we're 2/5 of a human being or 3/5 of a human being, if this was true then we've never would have advanced to a level of being smarter than the people who created the language, which was backwards in the first place. We come from a place of languages. We got our languages and our culture taken away from us. Those of us that are native Indians, our culture has been taken away from us. Those of us that are the melanated people from the continent in which they call Africa, known to some as Kemet, they took our ancestry. They took our knowledge. They took our connection to our divine decree. Yet and still, here I am in 2020, the time of 2020 vision, telling you, we are not lost. We are awakening. We are awakening to the process of next level. I'm going to put out these videos and have these conversations. And the next one I'm going to have is about the extraterrestrial experiences in which I've experienced. But this is just a taste of those things in which we need to have a conversation about, because we have been in the dark for so long. And I'm not talking about the color of my skin. I'm talking about the auras that shine in a lot of us, to where the children can see that there's something within myself that when it comes without, it's beneficial to other people. And the same could be said about some of y'all out there. And those some of y'all that's out there that I'm talking about are the stronger cogs that put everything else into play. We supersede the world governments. We supersede the people who are in the background, shadow governments that the greater populace don't know about, but may have been whispered in the ear through conspiracy theories of these said organizations. We're stronger than all that. But because we've been mixed within all this down here, some of y'all have forgotten that y'all greater than this existence in which they've given you, to where they told you can be a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker, a lawyer, a doctor, a sociologist, a psychologist. But They don't really want you to know who you are. This is my job. My job is through my conversation about self and what I'm going through, and all those people who can verify that I've been around them and had these conversations talking about religion, talking about how religion is the thing that jams up most of these people on this planet. Don't care what your religious belief is. I picked up a lot of these religious books down here, not limited to the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, the Black Book. And what I found out from all of them is man and being implements their will by writing down what they want you to know. Some of it good, some of it bad, some of it indifferent. I learned some things from the Torah that let me know, even though I found out about it after I read it, I was experiencing the things that the Torah was talking about. The Kabbalah, the Bible. So there are some truths in these books. That's why some people who have no spiritual sense, they can connect to it and say, yes, I feel something. Yes, you feel something. You feel like they're close to telling you something that's so truthful that you'll hold on to that little morsel of the truth, opposed to realizing that it's just something to keep you occupied with limitation. And it doesn't allow you to go to the end of the book, Revelations. This is the time of Revelations. We're in the age of Aquarius, arose by another name, however you want to call it. The times are going fast. They want to keep you contained in your house because they don't want to let you see how fast time is moving. But those of y'all who have been working for all of this time, up until 3 months ago, you realize that there's a difference in the time. We are in the fifth dimension. We transcend in the fifth dimension, where some of us may feel that we're still in the third or still in the fourth. We are in those dimensions, but that fifth dimension is also part of the equation. It's an unlocking of a box. It's an opening of a door. It's a key to a room that you've never saw. And here we are in this conscious conversation, having a current event conversation about what's going on. And what's going on is, those of you who are awakened, you know who I am. And you know why I'm having this conversation. And you may have been visited from a time in your life, depending on how old you are, by those things which we, for lack of better terminology, may call angels, extraterrestrials, higher denomination beings, whatever you want to call them. The thing is, I've been visited, and I didn't realize until I got older how many visits I actually have had. And part of me is concerned about me telling people this, but I realized that I'm not the only person that's been visited, and that's why I've had the luxury of experiencing the life as I've experienced it thus far. We're on a journey that requires those of us who really know and had a good experience, because I've heard people who have bad experience with these extraterrestrials, because like the people that are down on this planet, not all of them are benevolent beings. A lot of them are out here cutting and picking, and they're working with certain underground governments to keep you enslaved. And part of that enslavement is through our government. So don't misconstrue or believe that all alien contact is benevolent, but also understand that me personally, I have not gone through a negative experience where I wake up and I'm looking at extraterrestrial movies and I'm shocked and I'm scared and I don't want to see this. You know, the scariest thing that scared me was believing in something that in my gut didn't sound right. And I didn't have the mind at the time as a child to go against the status quo. Don't question your elders. They're right, you're wrong. But as I got older and had to test those truths in which they gave to me to see if they apply to the world universally, I realized that they don't. And then when I found out that they didn't, I had to confirm that I just wasn't being a devil, and I had to find out why they don't work. And I began to find out why they don't work. I began to find that out when I was Muslim for about 2 months, and I gave my heart to the religion thinking that these people would probably be the ones that would best benefit me, where Christianity was the slave religion. And then I dug into their religion, and although they have a good bunch of set of morals and principles for some part, it still makes you subservient if you happen to be a woman, which is not right in God's law. Forget man's law. Man's law will have women under them and will say that they became the first and woman was the second. But logically, having this conversation, I as a man cannot have a female or male child without a woman. And the woman, she can have us. Boy, girl, man, woman. We are only helpmates, male. If we've been given the divine blessing, we become alpha males. If we have become the prodigy of said divine blessing, we're alpha males. If we give our life into being the being that we are alpha, to the best of our knowledge, not belief, but best of our knowledge, then in our ability to have children, me as an alpha male will have an alpha female. If I was an alpha female, I'd have an alpha male. And that's pretty much the conversation of the alpha. You can test what I'm saying by just looking at your family dynamics. And if you can really, really, truly look at your family and see who the strong people in your family was, you'll see that the strong males have had strong females. And the strong females have had strong males. Do the homework for yourself. I'm going to end this in another 3 minutes, well, 2.5 minutes, because I've given a longer process of what my conversations are going to be like. This would be more entertaining for me if this was live shot, but what this is sort of like that I'm doing is more like a commercial. I'm putting out to all of these beings that are like myself, that realize that we are not like the other 2/3. Come to my table. Come to my UFO of information. And let's digest and have these conversations so we can figure out what we need to do as a grouping. I have a lot of things in plan in terms of what we can do to change and transcend the world. I've got some global ideas that allow us to go internationally and even go into the levels of outer space. But we got to start from here. And as a lot of great societies have been created where you would like to have a place where we can do as we choose and no one comes and tries to make us do anything else. But one of those inevitable things in which I see must happen in our building such society, we also got to build a military that we trust, because we can't have anybody trying to blow up our establishment or our grouping because it goes against what they've been trying to do for all these years. They've been trying for so many years to keep us separated. They separated us by colors of skins and races, and they also separated us by the caste system, financial caste system, where if you don't have any money, you live in one place. You have a certain amount of money, you live in another place. And if you have the majority of the money, you can live anywhere you want to live. That's just common sense. So I'll end this by saying I'm looking forward to seeing my fellow classmates, my professors, those looking to know. And once again, I'm Theodore William Gilder, And it's been a pleasure. See you soon.